the last few years when, my son is a remarkable young man and he's moving into adulthood and I am trying to move out of my role as parent.
Yes.
And it's taking longer than I perhaps would like and it's taking longer than he would perhaps like to be dependent on me. And so there have definitely been some really challenging times the last few years. And I've found that if I just go, okay, today I feel absolutely overwhelmed and cross and uncomfortable and I can either just wallow in that and throw something at a wall and be really pissed off. I could just go, I'm not answering the phone. Yeah. I'm going to go and walk in nature and I'm not going to pay any bills. I'm just know when to just disconnect and firewall my little bubble for a while.
Yes.
And then
build yourself your own little cubby fort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quanta folks, and welcome to another episode of Faark The Shoulds podcast. I am Jodi from QuantiMama and I am joined by a luscious luminescent woman, Kristen Morrison, who is, I think, the original should fucker. So Kristen, we are going to hear all about all the ways you have Faark The Shoulds in your life. Welcome to Faark The Shoulds podcast.
Who knew? Faarking the shoulds. I didn't even know I was doing it all this time.
You're just ahead of your time. You're cool. You're just cool. You're one of those effortlessly cool people that we all aspire to be.
Gorgeous. Well, back at you. Look what you're doing. I think it's amazing.
Well, we're all doing our little bit in our corner of the world, aren't we? Yeah. So where do you want to start? Let me try this one for you. So, because I do like just putting people in the deep end, and clearly it's scripted today. What if you were going to say you had 20 questions and one of the questions was, give us your defining should fucking moment. What would that be for you? If you could think of one moment in your life where you were like, yeah, I farked that should. What would that be for you?
I was in year 12 and I got okay marks.
Yeah.
Mostly in art subjects. And I could have done law. And I thought I probably should do something like that.
Yeah.
But no, I want to be an artist.
Excellent.
So I went overseas for a year and wrestled with, is it photography or fashion?
Yeah.
And
does it have to be one or the other?
Well, no, but I think it made sense to have one main focus.
Yeah.
But I think that would be it, like from an adult point of view. There's probably earlier ones.
Yeah.
But that was the point where it's like, okay, establishment or what feeds my heart. Yeah.
I love that. So when we talk about farking the shoulds, we're actually looking to align with our heart field and what that is whispering or shouting to us.
That's right.
Are you still an artist?
That's right. Yes, I am. I am still an artist.
Look at you go.
I think it's a really, really interesting and very topical question because there's a lot of things happening in my life at the moment that are making me reconnect with my creative side. And I think that really, to me, being an artist is so much more than creating something that another person can appreciate. It's the way we love and the way that we cherish our children and the way that we foster their creativity and the way that we, choose to feel is an art form. The way that we choose to disagree and can actually follow through on disagreeing with the way we're expected to respond to a situation. They're all different art forms.
It's a very non-violent way of communication too, isn't it? Because it's by invitation, in the sense that the viewer gets to consume that art, but they also get to receive it from whatever perspective they're at that given moment. So it's, it can actually be a very effective way to communicate a different idea.
That's right.
Not in that same way of, to be honest, podcasts are kind of like that, They're another invitation to maybe think differently. So that's great.
Communication is, my mum is a writer. And so, there was kind of art in all of everything we did as children. She was always, we'd be on long drives a lot. And she'd say, okay, look out the window, there's that tree. Tell me a story about that tree. Tell me the person that's connected with the tree, the reason why they're connected with the tree. She'd kind of set the scene, and we'd have to come up with a story that explained why that tree is the way it is.
Wow, I feel like a terrible parent right now.
No way. Listen, what you're doing here is very reminiscent of what I grew up with.
Thank you for that validation. I needed that right then.
Kids are so freaking lucky.
I hope so, but not everyone can have space to raise their kids, and so it is. That's something that I try and excite in other people is how can you create that childhood for your children without selling a house and buying acreage or whatever it might be. How can you ignite that? It's a bit not like not having all the money, and how you get creative with gifts and experiences for your kids, and there are ways to do that. So it sounds like your formative years, obviously they had a mark on you to who you are, but there's been so many things in your life that I think that people with lesser metal would have folded. I would love for you to share some of those things, because you've got such a rich story in terms of where you've been, what you've done, and how you've inspired others as well.
Thanks.
Part of your luminescence, of course.
Thanks, gorgeous. Well, look, I think a lot of it comes from the way that our parents instill self-belief. And so we, at the end of my second grade, I think, we moved to the country. So I spent the last 4 years of my primary school living on about 30 acres, literally in the middle of nowhere, to the point where if there was a school dance on the weekend and I wanted something new to wear, it wasn't an option for Mum to drive me to Geelong to go shopping. So I had to cut up an old tablecloth and make myself something to wear, or modify something else. And so the whole resourcefulness of living remotely not only instilled in my brother and I the viewpoint that we could have the best possible outcomes through our own efforts. Yeah. Right? With whatever resources we had at hand, but also the fact that we couldn't lose. Yeah. So if you rock up to that school dance wearing something that you think looks amazing, it literally doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about that outfit. You look amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And so that, I think, and the older I get, the more experience I have, the more I realise how golden a setup that was for me. And every person's different, but for me, my parents were both very artistic, very spiritual, very nurturing, very much throwing their resources at making sure that we had this amazing childhood and self-belief. So I think that's where, and I know it's true, Jodi, I know it's true. So I had a fashion business. When I chose not to do law, I set up my own fashion business and, for better or for worse, ran that for 20 years. Running your own business at the best of times isn't easy, but I was young and arrogant and thought, fuck it, I can make this work with no money behind me.
Exactly.
And I'll start off cutting up lace tablecloths that I buy from Target for $5, and I made them into things and sold them in Greville Street for $45 back when that was a lot of money. Yeah. And, I failed and succeeded and blah, 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 but all the while believing that I would find a way through. And then when my son was born, with Down syndrome, I know because I've coached a lot of parents and I've helped a lot of families deal with the same diagnosis and sort of very similar parenting journey since then. I know that for someone who wasn't given that kind of pig-headed viewpoint that they could have the best outcome imaginable, regardless of whatever life throws at you, that things would have been very different.
Yeah.
And then when COVID happened, and, X years later, because of my son's journey, I was running an organic food business, and then COVID, mowed that flat, and all of a sudden I'm a single mum with a 13-year-old boy who was, look, I'll say high needs in the context of other kids who don't need very much support at all, but he needed more support. And so it's like, what am I going to do? I literally got my own flat.
Yeah.
Financially, I put all my stuff in storage. I moved into my good friend's beach house and like, what am I going to do next? And had to try and work out some sort of career path that made sense for me and for my son. And with my friends' help, started flipping houses. And then, and so now Griffin developed all these skills, working with some trades and.
But he'd seen that what I term as real resilience modelled in his mum as well, which the real resilience is staring down what it is, even though you're like, shit, I really don't want to have to do that, but then making the assessment to still step into that. So it's very much an empowered decision. And, to model that for our kids, because I actually don't think too much about that stuff, but that's how I operate. That's how McGill operates. It's very helpful being on the same page with that. And sometimes there's a brutality with the parenting where you sort of say, well, you work out the solution. I'm here not to save you, but to witness you. And you can ask me questions, but I'm not doing it for you. And if you choose not to do it, then that's your choice, So how do we help, though, the kids out there that are so sanitised to the world? Do you think there'll be a comeuppance at some point, like, I don't know, the internet going down or, I don't know.
I pray that it does, and I pray it happens soon.
What do you reckon they'll do?
It goes down for a month. I think it's really bloody healthy.
Yeah.
For us to all disconnect and be forced to find ways to interact with each other and play games and reconnect with nature and use our own creativity to make a meal without a fridge working or all the things that we've been so disconnected from as humans.
There's no resourcefulness anymore. That's what it feels like. In the first instance, it's panic because the familiar is suddenly not available. So it's a really interesting space. We have this thing where we've got Starlink. Reception's terrible here. Anyway, that occasionally just doesn't work. And I even notice in myself, even though I'm fairly resourceful, when it doesn't work, I'm like, shit. Yeah. Everything uses the internet, like everything these days. And I look at it as an invitation to go, okay, you need to wean yourself off this drug because it's an addiction that we all have, and everyone's losing their mind. Oh, my audiobook's not working and, Spotify's not playing. And I'm like, these are very modern problems, kids,
Exactly.
So pick up an instrument and learn that instead. So tell me about what that's like in the creative space, because you are just opening a new creative space.
Yeah. So, good question. And I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to just quickly say to you, though, when you talk about sanitised children, I think we need to look at the parents first, though, right?
Would be helpful.
Because when my firstborn, so my girls are both born at home. They were all born at home. But the girls were born at home in a warehouse apartment that my ex-husband and I built upstairs from my fashion business. And the kitchen was just a structure with no cupboards. And I had all the crockery just stacked underneath. And then we had a stairwell with a steep drop and no fencing. There was nothing barricading, like literally. It was very dangerous.
Yeah.
But we taught Bronte how to navigate the space, and the number of people who were horrified that we would put our daughter in danger. It's like, okay, can you just watch the way we operate? Because we're staying there, we're making sure she understands how to take a plate out, how to not hurt herself. The same thing as when my son was little and he was climbing the playground equipment. I wasn't hovering. It's like, okay, you just need to work out which muscles you need to use to get your way up there. You know, and watching the way that, I mean, that was just common sense to me, and that was the way that I guess I was parented probably. But, you know, so many parents are so paranoid about outcomes, and so they're so overly protective, and so kids they're not learning these skills that are actually just common sense, you know, just good general knowledge.
Well, more than that, they severely undermine the children and rob them of their own experiences. I mean, it's really funny. We have this playground and we took, it's an elevated cubby house, right? And we took the bottom rung off because our youngest, Kid 4, is just like, he was climbing stuff before he could crawl. He was just that kid. He just wanted to be with the big kids. And anyway, so we took the bottom rung off thinking, oh, well, that's you know, that'll stop him. Next thing you know, he's climbed up there. He might have been, he was not very, 18 months old. Anyway, he fell from about 1.8 metres. It was like a big fall. And I was like, there's nothing more I could have done to stop this kid. He is going to have his experiences. And I've reached the point where, you know, because obviously I did 18 years in ambulance, and I've always been around people that, obviously I've seen a lot of death, and it's interesting to me how people grieve. But something that I've come very comfortable with now is that every person that dies has completed their life. So you can't die prematurely. A baby that dies at birth has completed their life cycle. And do we understand it? Not necessarily. But is it a premature death? No, it's not. And I understand that people need to grieve in different ways. But one thing that I decided to do is I can't keep robbing my kids of experiences. So if they're meant to have that experience, I won't put them in harm's way. I don't put them in the middle of the road and see if the cars dodge them, you know. And I think you're talking about the same kind of thing. But, you know, your beautiful son has a sense of autonomy for good reason, because he worked out he could do that. But he also gets to have the bumps and bruises too, because that's part of the richness of his life experience, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. I love that, because our kids have always been around that kind of stuff too. And same thing, if they come down the fast way, they come down the fast way. But I do wonder, and I'm curious to know if, I think probably you would think similarly to me as well, is that when we as parents project into the field that we share, obviously, with our children, that, okay, if you climb that tree, you're going to fall down. I suspect that part of our transmission actually cultivates that relationship or that experience for our kids.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You make them expect, I can't do that or I'm going to fall down. Well, actually, no. If you do that, you may very cleverly work out how to navigate your way back down there.
That's right.
Without injury.
That's right.
And with a sense of achievement.
And that's amazing.
Stop telling them.
Stop telling them they can't do it.
But
what I'm saying is, and this is not to put the blame firmly in parents, but it's actually to acknowledge how the universal field works. If I'm thinking my kid's going to fall out of that tree, then to me, I'm actually architecting that experience for them.
That's exactly right.
And so you then did the reverse hack on that, which was, we have this set of stairs. You're going to be fine, you know, navigating that. You won't go the fast way. You'll go the usual way, which is a bit slower, right? And so, you know, you've got a 100% success rate with that being the case, you know. So there's not that experience where your child does have that experience of falling down and, you know. But the way that the kids then tackle life, I think, is where it gets really breathtaking, you know, or breath-giving, I would say.
That's right. They're much more inclined to take calculated risks. The other thing that, along similar lines, in my my work with special needs parents, I've had the conversation often that just because you want to intervene a certain way, just because you want to give the child all the resources, opportunity, all the exercises, all the homeopathics, all of the, energy medicine, everything you want to throw in their direction to help them to have the most optimal neurological system imaginable.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they want it.
That's right.
Or doesn't mean that they're going to be on board.
Doesn't mean there's a frequency alignment for it. That's right.
And it's a tough one to. It's a tough one for some people to understand or be willing to look at.
Yeah. I imagine you would have seen that a lot because it sounds like you got to that point very quickly for yourself of going, I can only provide these opportunities for my kids, but I can't force the outcome. But trying to find that bridging communication for those parents that must feel so bereft in terms of, like, probably impotent, I imagine, is how they feel because it breaks their heart seeing their child in that way.
When Griffin was little, or two things actually, when he was probably about 10 days old, because he was a home birth, we weren't in the hospital system. It took actually a week to get the diagnosis confirmed, which was I think it was probably the worst week of my life because I'm, on the one hand, I'm researching what do I do if he has it?
Yeah.
On the other hand, but he probably doesn't have it. So am I catastrophizing something that is not even a thing? But also I'm noticing differences from my daughters. So what's really going on here? But anyway, when the diagnosis was confirmed and I just went into floods of grief. Yeah. And once I'd kind of come up for air, I actually spoke to him. And I said, okay, we've found out there's something about your body, which is not what we were expecting. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help you to have the most robust immune system and the healthiest body and the most amazing life. But I said, I spoke to him the way I'm saying to you. Yeah. And I said, I need you to help me. Yeah. Because we're going to work as a team. Yeah. And he was, the indicators from him were that he totally understood what I said and there was an aliveness in that moment. Gosh. And I totally believe that at that point I recruited his willingness to be a part of the journey.
No doubt. No doubt.
And I know that having had that conversation, having told that story to other parents, sometimes it's like, I just know that he's just, my child is just not ambitious or uncomfortable. We've made his life really pleasant as it is. Yes. He doesn't need to, doesn't feel the need to do anything beyond what's already happening. Yeah. So, so some of them can see that that's the way. But
all junkies must detox I'm being outrageous, but all junkies must detox if they want a different life for themselves. And so comfort is the greatest addiction of our modern world. I mean, just the idea of the internet going down would probably bring people to hysterics. So the idea that we can, and I'm actually for that. I'm for the discomfort because I actually think that's where life gets really interesting, where you grab it by the balls and you just give it a squeeze to see what happens next, and create that discomfort. And it's not, I don't want to create discomfort for my kids, but I do want to see them uncomfortable to see what they'll do, because I don't think they're here for a comfortable life. I think maybe we all want a comfortable life until we've got it, and then what? You're just waiting to die. I mean, the whole point is to have contrast, right? So have some discomfort so you can feel there's some triumph. You've been doing that, right?
And do you know what that reminds me? When I finished high school and I went overseas for a gap year, and I spent 6 months in Paris working as a nanny. And I was reading all these amazing books and lying in the sun under the Champs-Elysees, like under the Eiffel Tower, just reading. And I was reading this one paragraph in a Herman Hesse book, and he said, without drama and passion, the comfort of normality can kill.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And I thought, that is what life is all about.
You're like, I choose drama.
I don't care how shit, I don't care how much adversity, how much passion, joy, creativity, that's all the colours. Yeah. And when everything gets thrown at you, I probably should have gone, actually, I'll just choose all this stuff more than, but that's
you've got to be clear on your order.
That's right. But without all that stuff, you don't know yourself well enough to know how can you, so that's why I guess getting back to the original question, I feel like, life has thrown some pretty confronting stuff in my direction, but once I get past that initial little adjusting my sails pause, then it's like, okay, well, there's a way through. So
yeah. And once you take one small measure of change, it doesn't become so massive. I mean, I suppose it's probably like walking up a mountain. Once you take a few steps, you go, it's not as far now, naturally, because you've walked up some of it. So, there must be that thing where I think that's where people get sidetracked on, they just see the mountain, or they see someone at the end of the mountain. They just can't work out how to
summit.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Let's go there.
That's right. But there's some discomfort in there and stretched muscles and, probably, I don't know, sores on feet and all kinds of things, right? There's discomfort in there. But, I mean, this is why anyone runs a marathon. And it's funny because obviously I talk a lot about birth, and I think we have sanitised ourselves to that experience. I love that you home birthed. I home birthed 3 of mine. I needed the contrast, so I did 1 in hospital and went, oh, shit, not doing that again. And then went to, did home births for the others. But I feel so sad for so many women and men, right? The fathers as well are disenfranchised in this sanitising of birth. But the babies as well, because they don't understand the richness of the experience anymore. It's just been, taken away bit by bit, and it's been made okay.
That's right. And then it's all the opportunity for the village to be part of it, because I went to my first birth, I think I was 11.
Wow.
My aunt had 9. She's a midwife.
Okay. She's clearly good at making babies as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
9 home births.
Wow.
And I went to the first 3.
Oh, my goodness. That's a gift.
11, 14 and 17, I think. And then had my own 3. So, but my point is just, without that culture around birth being a joyful, beautiful, natural part of the family's history, story, you don't get a chance to take part in all that amazing connection.
True creativity.
Correct.
Slightly messier than painting.
Yeah.
A bit more of a clean-up. But you do have your artwork for the rest of your life.
That's right.
So circling back, because I'm curious to know, you're on your next birthing, your next baby.
Yes.
With this creative space.
Yes. So what happened was I have a new lovely person. Lovely man.
We love lovely people.
Yes, we love lovely people.
Lovely people, the best.
Lovely people make the world go round. Anyway, he is very lovely, and he's an art installer, and he wanted a space as a gallery.
I feel like I need to know what an art installer is. That's not a profession I've heard of before. What do they do?
Well, it's a thing. So he goes into people's homes and he helps to place artworks.
Oh, it's like curation as well? Yeah. Does he help choose the artwork as well?
He has done. He's done curation.
That's cool. Okay, so he's got an eye.
Yes. Great eye.
Clearly.
Because
he recognises luminescence. We're back to that. It's important, folks.
Anyway, so now he goes around and installs art in private homes and galleries and all the rest of it. And there's a knack to it, because if you don't do it properly, the art doesn't sit straight. And also, I mean, he's done some installation for me in the houses since I've been with him. And he'll say, I think you think you want to put that painting there, but I think if you put it there, it's going to change. It's actually quite amazing.
Yeah.
When it's done properly.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he wanted to set up his own gallery space, and I'm setting up a styling business as like on the back of my flipping. I want to start sort of going in and consulting people to improve their homes or style their homes, or whether they're flipping or whatever. So we both needed space, and then he said, "Well, what about if it's like a community art space, and then we can have workshops?" And all of a sudden, we're
fabulous
talking to people we know who do workshops in indigo dye and cyanotype, and we want to find someone to do life drawing.
Great.
And just had my birthday celebration there, which was exciting.
Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you. 35 of my friends came along and created some art.
I saw the pictures. They were beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely have been terrible at that. So I know
You
that
just
about
don't
myself.
know that, honey. My builder came along. My
Yeah.
builder was like, okay, sure, I'll come along, but, I'm not creative. And he made a beautiful cat. So it's in all of us. But, yeah, so we're creating this space which is it's really about creative connection.
Yeah. Yeah, you're building a community hub there.
Yeah.
Where the soul can sing.
Correct.
That's cool.
I know. And because it's a heart-led project, it's not, I mean, sure, it needs to survive financially, but it's not.
It helps to
it's not
keep
all
the electricity
about,
on.
Yeah, it's not all about building an empire with a creative space. It's just about...
Yeah, sharing the love.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think we're all just so... The world's a troubled place.
Yes.
And the more we can raise the frequency by
absolutely
providing opportunities for connection, communication, self-expression.
Become a frequency node.
Exactly. I've had messages. I mean, my girlfriends, unsurprisingly, really enjoyed it. But I've had messages from the guys, and even my brother last night said, I've been thinking about that all week. Like, I haven't painted something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. As a creative pursuit for decades.
So it wakes something up in people that they wouldn't have gifted themselves otherwise.
That's right.
Yeah. Shakes them out of the banality of life. It's so good.
It can be very banal and very bloody traumatising at the moment. Unless you do as you've done and as I've done. I have no television. I don't listen to radio.
Turn that stuff off.
All that crap.
Yeah.
You know what's going on, but you don't have to marinate in it all the time.
I actually don't need to know. If it's in my community, I'll probably see it or someone will tell me. I actually don't need to know. Yeah. And it's become a practice for me, because otherwise I find it difficult to maintain a frequency that is wanting the very best expression for humankind. Because I see what people are doing to each other under the guise of, I don't know, it's just someone else's argument. That's what I think. I think those people that are on the ground that are hurting each other, they don't really have a beef with one another. I think they're just doing their bidding. They're doing the shoulds. Yeah, and they need to fuck them hard, the nicest way possible. If you can nicely fuck shoulds.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I was listening to one of your episodes on my way here when you were talking about having a foot in both camps.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Straddling two worlds.
Yeah, for McGill.
Where the woman's role is to keep the home and make things nurturing and beautiful and foster that high vibe for the children and for their future. And the guy's job is to provide and
protect,
create the container
yes.
for the beautiful family. And I was listening to what you're talking about as far as then there's the single parents amongst us who straddle both worlds and have to find a way to be, what was that saying from years ago? Be alert but not alarmed.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so there are environmental dangers.
Yes.
However, if I don't keep myself in good condition spiritually, emotionally, physically, I'm not there for, well, in my case, a person who needs a bit of extra support for
that's
right. And for my children and for the family's greater good.
And you've had to do that.
I've had to do that, and I've had to do it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm ignoring my responsibilities as far as having a sort of conscience.
Yes.
But keeps me sane.
I witness in you that you've done that very well, though. Looking at you in front of me now, you seem like you've rocked that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's nice, and it's nice to hear that too, because they can. What I think we don't often give credit to is the corrosive effect of time, or like multiple experiences of shittiness, and I think that sometimes it's a bit like the mother that does her nana because the kids for the 100th time have done some minor transgression. The transgression is not what she's losing her mind over. She's just completely over it happening over and over and over and over and over again. And we don't cut ourselves slack with that. We tend to be very hard on ourselves, particularly when you've done the toil of raising your kids in a very conscious way and wanting to hold that space for them, you know. So we end up being very hard on ourselves for all those things. And we need to cut ourselves some slack because it's a lot, you know.
It is a lot.
And then it requires, I think, a very healthy level of discipline to say, well, I'm not being defined by that. I appreciate that was, you know, it wore me down a little bit. There were some hard times in there. I'm not getting an award for the hardest life ever. And even if I did qualify for that, do I want that award? Exactly. Who's going to put that in their pool room? That's a shit award, right? Yeah. You win for having the hardest time. Like it's about this. I find in the purple washing, shallow spiritual movement, it's about that thing of being grateful for everything. No, you don't have to be grateful for everything because some things suck ass. So it would be really fine to go, that was shitty, and I give it a 1-star review. So that's my way of saying, okay, it's a 1-star review. But am I grateful that I found a fortitude within that? Am I grateful I'm still here? Am I grateful I didn't complete my life during that? You know, that wasn't when I took my last breath. And that's where I find the gratitude, you know, rather than this grateful thing of being grateful for everything under the sun that's ever happened to you.
Yes.
I don't know how you do that. I feel like that's gaslighting people, you know, into feeling good about stuff they actually need a passion about, which circles nicely back to that beautiful quote. That's the passion we need, isn't it? To find that fire so that you can actually burn through the shit that is a lower frequency, that is a lower vibration, and you can bring it up, and you invest more in your life.
That's right.
You're meant to be doing the talking, not me.
No, but the thing is, the problem is I agree with you about just about everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of the things you say I could have said, so carry on.
Oh, well, I'll consider it pulling it from our field.
The other thing I was going to say to you, though, was, you know, that one of the things that I've had to really master is the pause.
Yes.
Because sometimes, especially the last few years when, you know, my son is a remarkable young man and he's moving into adulthood and I'm trying to move out of my role as parent.
Yes.
And it's taking longer than I perhaps would like, and it's taking longer than he would perhaps like to be dependent on me. And so there have definitely been some really challenging times the last few years. And I've found that if I just go, okay, today I feel absolutely overwhelmed and cross and uncomfortable, and I can either just wallow in that and throw something at a wall and be really pissed off. I could just go, I'm not answering the phone. Yeah. I'm going to go and walk in nature and I'm not going to pay any bills. I'm just know when to just disconnect and firewall my little bubble for a while. Yes. And then
build yourself your own little cubby fort.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really and it's also one of the absolute blessings of having met this bloke. Because now, and a good friend of mine said to me many, many years ago, there's nothing like being with a man that you don't intend to have children with.
Oh, right. Well, that's kind of my marriage now, actually. I mean, we'll keep the ones we've got. No more.
No, but you've got all of the shared connections.
Yes.
And the shared history. And I'm loving just having a connection with someone just for me.
Yes. Yeah.
About me.
Yes.
It's not to do with me as the mother of his children. It's not to do with me as the person who's going to have children with him in the future.
Yes.
It's literally.
You can be fully present.
It's just the most beautiful personal connection, you know. And so that
does sound yummy.
It's just it's really freaking divine, actually.
Highly recommended.
I'll tell you something else. And I realised as I was driving, I'm wearing this.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
A girlfriend.
Feminist AF.
Correct.
I love that.
I am so not a feminist.
Well, not based on that, you know, defined image that's out there.
No.
We're talking divine feminine. You're a fan of that.
Well, what I was going to say was that when I started to learn about this divine feminine thing, I was like, this is the latest freaking purple washed pop psych bullshit thing. Like, really, I mean, but the more I looked into it, the more I thought, oh, something sounds really nice about being able to just be the woman and be allowed to just be in your relationship bubble.
Yes.
And I'm experiencing this at the moment, and it's really incredibly soul quenching, and fulfilling. And it's not something that I ever would have expected that I would enjoy, to the point where, because we're living together now, and this is going to sound very bizarre. It may actually shock you, but I was away.
I doubt that somehow.
Away for a few, for a few nights recently, and I was thinking, I need to get home because I've got to do his laundry.
Oh my goodness, you really have luxuriated into that. How was that? Did you make it home and do that?
Of course, I made it home and did the laundry. But the thing is,
did that feel good though?
There's something really beautiful, and like, I want to contribute to him.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would fit into, if you want to say go to the love languages, that being of service. And that, I mean, being of service feels really nice.
It does.
Yeah, especially when it's given from this whole self perspective, not out of some duty.
Exactly. And then it's reciprocated because he insists on opening the car door for me, or the door of the restaurant. He insists on...
I have one of those too.
Yeah.
I love that chivalry.
Exactly. There's this really gorgeous... I'm here to protect you. And I'm just absolutely freaking loving it. So I never imagined that I'd be the sort of woman who would enjoy that quite so much.
Well, because we've sort of, and this is probably fitting into the feminist argument, the new version of feminism, is that that somehow we're denying who we are, or we're not equal if we allow for that to happen. But it's beautiful being held. I mean, a baby doesn't lie there crying, oh, you're holding me again, damn. I mean, a baby loves being held. It is, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to be held and to be the person holding as well. I mean, that's part of that relationship with humanity. And so part of that, providing that service, also feels really nice as well. I mean, I feel that when what's my pinnacle meal for the family? It's enchiladas, right? Yeah. The enchiladas, the reason why it's a pinnacle meal, it sounds ridiculous, and I know that. I make the taco spice. I then hand make the tortillas.
Oh my gosh.
I then blitz up veggies and hide that in the homemade pasta sauce or salsa that I put in there. Yeah. And then I bake the whole thing. And so it's got so many elements that were made by me that contributed to the meal. Like it's massively a meal of love, right? The family take no time to demolish it, of course. It's done. But it's that thing of knowing that it hasn't just been something I've grabbed out of a packet. Yeah. It's the meal for our family that has the most intention, because almost every single element has been handmade from scratch, which sounds OTT, but also is a way that I express my love for my family. So I try and do it every 6 months. I don't want them getting lazy and assuming it's it. Exactly. Don't think it's going to happen all the time. Yeah, absolutely. So we can absolutely sit in that divine feminine. And one of the things that McGill really is great at articulating is how men can sit in their divine feminine too. And I think that where you're going with this creative space is going to awaken that for a lot of men, which is a beautiful thing, because it will invite in a softness into their lives where they have been so conditioned to be hard, and not feel that. But they never stopped being the little boy in there as well. So, it's so beautiful. Anything that brings men into that softness I celebrate that, because I think it makes them better humans. I think they yearn for that in their soul anyway, however that creativity gets to express itself, whether it's building a wood shelter or painting a cat or doing some kind of dancing freedom or something. I don't know. It's beautiful.
It
so,
is.
I mean, I don't feel like you would ever need to go back to your, new parent self or teenage self and say, hey, this piece of advice. I feel like you've lived your life very authentically from the get-go. What would you say to parents these days, or to the people, excuse me, the women in society that really need to have some kind of gateway access to Faarking the Shoulds? What would you say to them? What would be a piece of advice that you would give to them?
I think the more we can do to make ourselves feel really fulfilled, you've got to find the thing that makes you feel fulfilled. And that's not just cooking enchiladas or doing someone's washing.
Yes.
It's got to be the thing that makes you feel alive.
Yes.
And you've got to make time to do that. Even if you've got a house full of children and, a demanding job, whatever your life looks like, you've got to make space for that thing.
Yeah. And if you can get paid for it, more power to you.
That's right. But even if you can't, I just think we've I just become so, well, exactly what you're saying. We are just overcome with duty.
Yes, that's right.
And so if you don't, I think that it's a longevity thing too. I think
Yeah,
for
I think
your
so.
personal health in all facets. If you don't prioritise doing the thing that makes you feel, and when I say fulfilled, that might be something that you do that's of service. It might be a community activity. It might be spending time with older people who want some lively interaction. Whatever that looks like for you, you have to do it, and you should bring your kids along with that journey too, so they can see that, okay, even though mum's doing blah blah blah, she's still got to find time to knit or grow flowers or whatever that thing is.
Yes, because they get to witness that. And if you're not rescuing yourself with technology, then it's very healthy for them to see that, because the panacea these days is a Netflix and a Tim Tam, isn't it? Scrolling, death scrolling.
And something that I found really strange in my 20s was friends going to personal trainers, because I thought, if you can't motivate yourself to go for a walk around the park, then there's something wrong. Or if you can't motivate yourself to go for a run, or go and buy, because there was no Google then, go and find a workout in a bookshop or something. Correct. Yeah. But the number of people who are paying someone to go and say lift that weight, or
good
whatever,
money,
I found bizarre. But I think now it's even worse.
Yes.
Because people are so connected to these goddamn things.
Yes.
That if there's going to, it's really the life coach thing, isn't it? But now it's, the whole mindfulness movement is really, we have to be enticed to go back to things which 100 years ago were just part of normal daily life.
Yes. But that I partly think, and this is not to exonerate the individual of their responsibility, but it is by design to keep us, compliant and essentially enslaved to a system that works for a minority. The system works if everyone's towing the line. This is my great argument about the education system. It's not made for the kids, and that's why we're slow to respond to kids that are struggling, because the system is not set up for them. Well, they're not the main stakeholders, and in society that's exactly right. And so I think it always comes back to radical self-responsibility and taking a moment to tune in, exactly like you're talking about, with what lights you up. And I would language that as what your heart is, saying it wants, what its great desire is, even if it is making enchiladas for people that wolf it down without a second thought. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It's beautiful advice.
Thanks.
Bottle that.
Well,
put on a T-shirt. We need a coaster. We need a bit of wall art.
A billboard.
A mass-produced bit of wall art.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We need a beautifully curated Created by Self art collection, don't we?
Yes.
Live in our own
That's
galleries.
Right. That's exactly right. That's another thing. Just one last thing. When I separated, and I've had this conversation with a lot of women about the importance of creating a sanctuary.
Yes.
You know, I went and bought myself the most divine French flax linen bedding because I thought if I can just go home to my space and feel like it is curated for my taste, and I feel nurtured and you know, that to me was like that was like step one of healing into single life. That and tip runs.
Yes.
Seriously.
I haven't mastered the tip run.
You've got to demo a kitchen and drive it to the tip and throw it off your trailer on your own. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Every woman, it's like you have to do it. It's like a bucket list.
It's the new changing the tyre thing, is it? All right.
Better because things smash. And
shatter. I love demoing stuff. I'd flip houses just for the demo. So good.
I start one on Friday.
Oh, good. All right, I'm in. Thank you so much for joining me for this luscious conversation.
I loved it.
Let's give an unabashed plug. Where can people find the beautiful community hub gallery space?
So it's called the Soul-Centered Art Space on Instagram.
Of course it is.
And there's a website coming.
Excellent. All right, Soul-Centered Art Space.
Art Space.
Art Space. Of course it's an art space. A Soul-Centered Art Space. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And what about the house flipping design stuff? What's going on there?
I'm actually reactivating my blog.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for people, for people that want to really immerse themselves in your magical mind.
Thanks, Gorge. What I want to do is actually, the next one I'm starting on Friday, this next flip, I'm actually going to document it.
Great.
And show the process.
Yeah, great.
Because, you know, it's fun to inspire people to want to go and, you know.
Yeah.
Landscape their own gardens or do a little reno on the kitchen or whatever.
Because you can see things that, like, we can't see. I just kind of scattergun approach and hope it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
I mean, your rammed earth walls, seriously, you need to teach me how to do that. They are.
I call that adults playing with mud. It really is. You get messy and muddy, and it's just beautiful. The connection with earth is next level. It is beautiful. Yeah. No, we call this birth sanctuary the house that gives you a hug, because it feels like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice space.
Do you know that word?
No.
Danish word, hugely.
Oh, what does that mean?
I'll send you a link.
Okay, good. All right. More fun. Thank you, beautiful Quantifolk. A delight. Go find this woman and, you know, all the incredible information that you have shared and supported with the community. There is probably a shit ton of parents out there very grateful for your presence and your voice, and just being such a steadiness with that. You know, I think because you haven't vacillated on where you've just been super steady with advocating for yourself and your kids. That's so reassuring for people. So reassuring. It's a great gift. So thank you. Beautiful Quantifolk, stay well. Till next time. Hey Quantifolks, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Birth is transformational. And it can be transformational in the right way and in the not so right way. So how do we arm ourselves to be really prepared for this incredible experience? Well, you wouldn't go out and run a marathon without any kind of training. You'd at least do occasional stretches. And the High Vibe Birth course, which is self-paced, available at the QuantiMama.com website, is available for you. You get to luxuriate in all of the ideas and transformational techniques and the beautiful information that can only have a positive effect on your birth. So get fit for your birth marathon and head to QuantiMama for the High Vibe Birth course.